Oh god, welcome back. We're gonna try to kill this. Oh my god, you're right, dude. What is she?
Instant.
For,
She's in the Thieves Guild, like beginning quest, where you go up and talk to that Red Guard dude, and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna make you guys steal from this house." She's one of the people who's like, "I will steal it first."
Oh.
I don't know why she's really not that important to the quest.
Yeah.
So she shouldn't be unkillable, but, whatever.
Well, you know what? I'm glad
Lucien LeChance is killable, but fucking Methridel isn't, so...
As long as she hangs around... What the fuck is happening, real quick, to, like, my neck area right there?
I don't know. I keep noticing that.
Like...
Yeah.
I can't seem to grasp what I'm looking at here.
Yeah, it's like one of those paintings where it gets worse and weirder the more you stare at it, rather than, like... you understanding it more,
right?
But he truly is a work of art.
Oh, because Methridel.
Yeah, Methridel. Yeah.
Well,
shouldn't have slapped her with the broadside of your axe, dude.
I guess, dude. I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry, Meth.
Meth. Do you know why they call me Methridel? I'll let you find out.
I love that, dude. Instead of like Beth,
Meth.
What's
up, Meth?
Hey, Meth, do you have the papers that I asked you for? She's like, oh, yes, sweetie.
Stop calling me Meth. But no, I had something I was going to bring up.
Yeah, what are you gonna
last
ask
episode I was going to ask you. I don't know if we've ever talked about this. If you got the choice where to set the next Elder Scrolls game, where would you set it?
Obviously, dude.
Okay, I'm curious. I want to know this.
Elsewhere.
Elsewhere, really?
Yes.
Tell me why.
100%.
Other than Khajiit.
So
I know that's one of your main reasons.
Yeah, well, that was the sort of... That was always the deciding factor, right? And you know how everyone always says Black Marsh?
I would think would be really cool to have Black Marsh. But then again, we're also saying our favorite races. You're saying Elsewhere because your favorite is Khajiit.
So here's my argument, which is this is usually how this goes down, right? Someone says Black Marsh, I say Elsewhere, and then I say, why Black Marsh? And they... Whoa! Kill himself! Oh my god! Oh my god, I'm so fucking glad that I recorded that. Oh, jeez.
It fucking killed itself.
Oh my god, dude. That was like a super rat.
That was perfect. We will never record anything like that again.
Shit.
All right.
Oh my god, totally original Let's Play.
Throw him down the mountain, dude. You got to give him a dignified
fucking
death.
like hardcore
right,
shit.
Throw him down.
Oh my god, dude. I don't think I can. He's too heavy.
Oh yeah, he's really heavy. He's so heavy that he fucking reached terminal velocity at 3 feet high in the air. Fucking exploded his brain on the ground.
Oh man,
that was great. All right, you're talking about favorite races.
Yeah.
And all
so,
that.
anyways, it's like that is the question, right? Why you choose Black Marsh? And they always respond with, well, I really like Agonians. Plus, Black Marsh sounds interesting. And then I say, why does Black Marsh sound interesting?
I can explain why Black Marsh sounds interesting.
Explain it to me then.
Okay, Black Marsh.
Fucking do it.
Well, first of all, one thing I've noticed in a lot of Elder Scrolls... Well, okay, actually, let me ask you a question.
Collect your thoughts.
I need to ask you a question first.
What?
I haven't played much Morrowind. Does Morrowind have different, like, kind of biomes in Vardenfell where it takes place, right?
Yeah.
Does it have different biomes, or is it kind of all the same thing?
Yeah, it does. It's got, like, sort of... It has, like, swampy areas, just like Oblivion.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. It's like, even in Skyrim, not all of Skyrim is tundra. Like, if you go south, there's more, like, forested
you know why they do that, right?
Yeah, well, so
otherwise
it doesn't break it up.
Fucking boring
game. That's what I was thinking. So I'm like, if Black Marsh was all swamp, yeah, that'd be pretty boring.
Yeah.
But I think that
let's just assume that it wouldn't be, right?
Yeah.
That they would make the decision to include other things so that the game wouldn't be boring. But still, you gotta explain to me why Black Marsh would be so much more interesting than Cyrodiil or Skyrim.
I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
I think that now that everyone is on board the Elder Scrolls wagon, everyone fucking loves Skyrim. They're like, it's amazing.
Yes.
I think Elder Scrolls needs to go back to being a little bit more weird, like Morrowind was.
Okay, but what?
And I think a really strange, alien, swampy, creepy landscape like Black Marsh would be amazing for lots of cool, creative, and weird ideas.
I do agree with you, but I have to ask, why do you think it's such a kooky, weirdo, creepy, alien swamp?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm just basing that just off of my own, like, kind of what I imagine Black Marsh to be.
Exactly. And
But Black Marsh can be whatever Bethesda
no, I
wants
know
it
that.
to be.
But here's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. It's you're basing Marsh off of the idea you have in your head of what Black Marsh is, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is solid lore that explains all of this stuff. And people, obviously, you know, I don't expect people to. I'm a weirdo. They don't go to the lengths to look up this stuff, which is why I find Elsewhere to be the most interesting place.
Well, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying about like pre-established lore and all that. But
yeah,
there's nothing stopping them from just changing that lore. They can do whatever the hell they want with it.
That's true. But
and if they wanted to change the lore to make a better game, then I'd feel like that would be way more important than just keeping lore for lore's sake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true, but I just feel like you do have to take that into account, right? Like when you're deciding what the next place is going to be. And so in my opinion, Elsewhere, the reason I find Elsewhere the most interesting is because a lot of people, what do you think of when you think of Elsewhere?
I think of deserts.
Exactly. Everyone goes, oh, it's just a desert place. But it's not just a desert place. That's the thing. There's there's oases or whatever you would call it. There's forests in Elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
The northernmost part of Elsewhere is forest. There's dense jungles in Elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different kind of places in Elsewhere. And again, this is I'm pulling this straight from the lore that already exists, right? Did you know that in the Thieves Guild, or in Elsewhere, the Thieves Guild is like a huge part of the society and politics because because you have like a sort of a natural sort of stealing ability, you know. So they are all Lucian.
I bet.
And so they take the Thieves Guild very seriously there, and the Thieves Guild there is way more sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Good, I guess, than even in like other Elder Scrolls games. Yeah, the Thieves Guild has always been painted as this sort of like Red Robin, like, oh, they're not like all bad. They like to steal.
Did you say Red Robin?
I meant Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
Yeah,
We make
like we make
Would
burgers.
you like onion rings?
Yeah. And so they have like you know, a very important impact in Elsewhere, right? But that's not it. I'm not done. Did you know that there are minotaurs in Elsewhere, right? And
But
then
there's minotaurs and
right, you're like,
Cyrodiil.
but there's minotaurs in Cyrodiil. These minotaurs are completely sentient talking minotaurs. Again,
dude.
I'm pulling straight from the lore here, right? Like stuff that already exists. I'm not making any of this up. Bethesda made this up a long time ago with like Arena, you know. And it's like it's such an interesting place because that place, there are like fucking you got to do this. There are
Okay.
like fucking straight up dinosaurs in Elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
You think like guars, you know, that are in Morrowind. And so it's so interesting. It's so much more interesting than I think Skyrim, or even more interesting than Cyrodiil. And you might say, oh, but Nick, you could do the same thing with Black Marsh or Somerset Isle, or even where the Red Guards come from, Hammerfell, which that place is a desert, by the way. Is like the whole thing is a desert. Which is why, in case you didn't notice, in Skyrim they are dressed like
I
Middle
noticed,
Eastern.
Yeah.
And it's like they you know, but look at how much lore is already there for Elsewhere that they can build off of, right?
I think I just want to say one thing. I think that any place really, like, I think the Elder Scrolls has such a like good, like they can do whatever the hell they want with Elder
Yeah.
Scrolls, and I think that's great. And so they could put it literally anywhere, and they could make it interesting. So
But this guy is super important to your argument because he, more than any other character in this entire game, talks about the Black Marsh. Because
does he really?
Yeah, because he came from the Black Marsh, and so he
Like, get him to say stuff like,
I've heard the count.
I don't know if I can right
Rumors?
now because I have to.
oh, hatch.
Oh.
Hatchlings. He is the one who trained us in the way of the shadow scale.
I mean, that's kind of like,
Night Mother is
No, dude, he talks about it like really heavily. Shadow
the
scale.
Argonian homeland of Black Marsh. Those born under the sign of the shadow are taken
that's
at
pretty
birth
cool, dude.
and presented to the Dark Brotherhood. A shadow scale hatchling is trained in the arts of stealth and assassination.
That wouldn't that be cool though to have like instead of a Dark Brotherhood questline, you'd have like a Shadow Scale questline, but it's
Right.
still also.
Any shadows.
Also, I had no idea there was a kingdom of Argonia.
Right?
I always was
didn't-
like,
I
everyone
actually
was
didn't
like,
know that
they're
either.
Argonians. They come from Argonia, but it's like, no, they come from Black Marsh.
Yeah, right.
But I guess there's a kingdom of Argonia now.
Yeah, and when you see like the fake box art for like the next Elder Scrolls, you know, like Elder Scrolls 6.
Everyone thinks it's gonna
always
be
says-
Valenwood.
Well, it always says Argonia if it's gonna.
Oh
be,
yeah,
if
but
the-
it's like, no. I mean, I guess it could since Argonia is technically.
Yeah,
part of
yeah,
the
and
lore,
I
but
always thought that was weird because I was like, what? It shouldn't it be called Black Marsh?
I had no.
But
I
then
didn't
again,
even
this
know
one,
that.
this game was called Oblivion.
Twins. We
And
were
not
taken at
Cyrodiil.
birth and given to the dark
I think
together.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, no. Everyone wants Elder Scrolls 6 to be set in Valenwood, which I think would be cool. Valenwood has lots of interesting lore. It's not just a forest. It has like moving trees and
Yeah.
things like that. It's super cool. But I don't know. I'd
Yeah,
be okay
honestly-
with that too. Because
honestly,
the Wood Elves are my second favorite race.
Right.
So.
Honestly, the only two places that I would be disappointed is
I know what you're gonna say. I think.
what?
Well, I mean, they couldn't do Hammerfell because Daggerfall isn't Hammerfell, isn't it? Or Hammerfell, isn't it?
Daggerfall takes place in part of Hammerfell and part of like Somerset
Hammerfell
Isle,
would
I
be
think.
fucking
Like,
boring.
it's this,
I'll
but
say
but
that.
it would be just as boring as a Black Marsh,
I
right?
think,
because it's like
I don't
you
know.
they
Hammer-
could. It's the Black Marsh is all just a swamp, right?
But
So
it's
they
not.
would have to. But why isn't it though? That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying because
they could.
any of the things have multiple biomes.
I
Like,
know,
they-
and that's what
Oh,
I'm
I guess
saying.
you're
Is,
right.
is
Yeah, you're
Hammerfell
right.
same exact
They
thing
could do the
applies?
same
So
thing. I don't
they
know.
could do the
I don't
same
know.
thing.
I feel like it'd be a wasted potential, I guess. But
I-
which one do you think would you be disappointed?
This is in two parts, right? I would be disappointed if they did
Spill some blood for me.
Somerset Isle is where High Elves are
Somerset
from,
Isle
right?
has to be like so pretty though. You gotta imagine.
Somerset
that,
no,
right?
but Somerset Isle is where High Elves
That's
are
where the
from,
High
right?
Elves are. Yeah.
Yeah, I would not want it to be set in Somerset Isle.
Why?
Because I fucking hate High Elves.
Do you just hate them because
they're
of Skyrim?
They're
Because of the
all,
Commonwealth?
but no, dude, they're arrogant pieces of shit. Plus, if it took place
That's just elves.
around when Skyrim did, no, Wood Elves are fucking great.
That's what I was gonna say.
Wood
I
Elves
love
are like,
Wood Elves.
oh
though.
yes, more of that.
They're
but
my
but
second favorite race, dude. I love
yeah,
Wood
dude,
Elves.
I love Wood Elves too. So I think Valen would be fine. But what I think is that if it took place around when Skyrim does, oh my god, I already
Oh,
hate the
the
Thalmor,
Thalmor,
but they
yeah.
would be like much worse in Somerset Isle. The other place, and the reason I say this is in kind of two parts, is that the other place I never wanted the games to take place is Skyrim, because Skyrim is like one of the most uninteresting places,
It really
and
is
even
when you
in
think
the
about it.
game, it's like just not
It's a
an
good-
interesting
it's
place.
a great game, but
yeah,
like,
it's a great game, but it's like it's just it
that-
could have been so much
and
better.
that's something
like you were saying,
that always
fucking
bothered me.
talking trees and shit, and you know we've got sentient minotaurs.
I
and
think
like,
they did Skyrim because they wanted something that wasn't too alien.
yeah,
Like Morrowind was really strange.
yeah, and
They
actually,
wanted something that people would look at it and be like, "Oh, hey, like Vikings and stuff." Like, yeah, right.
sound just cut out there. yeah, yeah, and I think that they could even go back to Morrowind. You know why? Morrowind only takes place in Vardenfell, which is
Yeah.
the tiny island in the middle of Morrowind.
Morrowind
is a huge place that goes all the way
What is the
around
biggest one?
Vardenfell.
What is the biggest
So,
continent? Not
uh,
continent. What are they called?
like region?
Region?
It would probably be Cyrodiil. I don't know.
We should look this up.
Yeah. Next time on Totally Original Let's Play, we'll talk more about your mama's asshole. Anyways.
Bye.
Click on the left to watch the next video in this series once it's uploaded.
Click on the right to watch another game that we played if you like this.
Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so that you get notified when we upload new videos.
And I told you, no,